Thank you very much, Reverend Fred, and thank you for allowing me to speak with you this morning. As Reverend Fred mentioned, I am the author of a new book, And Then Came Peace. It just came out last fall, and although it's a fast-paced suspense thriller set in the Middle East, lots of intrigue and an exciting story, what's really capturing a lot of interest is the message that's embedded in the story, the Enlightenment. And that is one of unity and tolerance, that we are actually more similar as we are bound in our faith than we are different. You know, we live in an extraordinary time. We have technology that has changed and brought us so very much in such a short period of time. And with that, we have knowledge and the ability to travel, communication abound, and experiences that we wouldn't have had before. And that's brought us such tolerance. We're tolerant with so much these days, with race and color, with gender equality, with sexual freedom, but not so with religion. We still really don't know that much about other religions beyond our own. And in this, we can strike out at different religions, as we are uncertain what they are, and can find fear, in fact, in those religions. A couple months ago, I met with the lead pastor of a megachurch, a Christian megachurch in Tampa. And this religious leader knew nothing of Islam. And it's a tragedy that strikes against the peaceful existence of not just Muslims, but all peoples living together. For in the absence of knowledge lies ignorance. And, we can blame this pastor, but most of us in the Western world don't know much about Islam or other religions. And in fact, we can see Islam, as a threat to us. We see Allah as something completely different than our God, when in fact, Allah is the same God as ours. It's just a translation for God in Arabic. When Christians pray in the Middle East, when they pray in Egypt or Palestine or Israel, Christians pray to Allah. When we hear a movie and we hear them reciting Allah Akbar, what they're saying is God is great. Yes, indeed, though, through the generations and centuries, God is pit against other God. And in this, we make enemies of each other. And it reminds me of a quote that I really like. It's, "An enemy is one whose story we have not heard." And this quote resonates with me. And I've spoken at various schools, and in the innocence of youth, they understand this right away. And let's hear what they have to say.
I think it's like saying there's one side of say you get in trouble. Someone they tell one side of the story and the other side's not even heard. No one knows about it.
They don't know that story, do they? No. Right? Yeah, how about you?
Well, I think it could be like if you have an enemy, you may not try to consider what they think their side of the story is, and you kind of just keep them as an enemy instead of thinking that they may possibly be right.
The joy of youth. We were all young once, right? But at this point in time, what I'd like to do is read some scripture to you. And it's not meant to preach to you, it's just to arouse some curiosity and interest, perhaps. Gabriel said, "Mary, God has chosen you above and made you pure. He has truly chosen you above all women." The angel said, "Mary, God gives you news of a word from him, whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, who will be held in honor in this world and the next, who will be one of those brought near to God. He will speak to people in his infancy and his adulthood." Mary said, "My Lord, how can I have a son when no man has touched me?" The angel said, "This is how God creates what he will. When he has ordained something, he only says, 'Be,' and it is. The Lord will teach Jesus the scripture and wisdom, the Torah and the gospel. He will send him as a messenger to the children of Israel. Now, that scripture that we are all familiar with is a part of our Christian culture and religion. But what may be a surprise to you is that this isn't from the Bible. It's from the Quran, the Muslim book of worship. Yes, Muslims actually share much of what Christians and Jews believe. Muslims believe in Adam and Eve, and Noah, and Abraham, that Moses delivered the Hebrew slaves to the promised land. Muslims believe in King David, that he slew Goliath the giant, and King Solomon. They believe in the prophets, all the prophets of the Old Testament. They believe in John the Baptist. They believe that Jesus was born to the Virgin Mary, the Messiah, as made by God. And Muslims believe that Jesus will return again to judge the living and the dead. When we look at this illustration, we realize that we have been pushed apart. Religions, not just Islam and Christianity, a lot of religions have been pushed apart. And we can ask ourselves, why? How has this happened? How has this separated us? We can blame the media for sensationalism, but the media are not responsible. The media's duty is to their shareholders to maximize their profitability, as all businesses are. And in doing so, what the media's first aim to do is to draw viewers that generate more advertising and putting news on that they think will draw more interest. We can blame our leaders as they put us against one another, one side on the other side, and differentiate us. One side is black and one side is white. Which is right and which is wrong? But which is right and which is wrong? Who is the dove and who is the fox? There is no difference, really. Even the fox and the dove are the same. Each is motivated only to protect their young and future generations. Their goal is to ensure that their young can live a safe life and bring future generations. Will the dove not strike out if someone is going to attack the nest, as will the fox at the den? So yes, indeed, we are the same. And human beings are the same. Except for humans, we have more than the regular species and the balance of species on this planet. We have such intellect and intelligence. We have emotion, great different emotions, from love to hate, from motivation, a competitive instinct. We can be anger. We can seek revenge and retribution. But regardless, we're all the same. None of us is different. We are indeed the same. And even in our faith, we are the same. Every religion across our planet, and every religion going back to the dawn of time, has a common bond within it. And that's the faith. Because inside us, we all have that same faith. And that faith is a recognition that there is a God, omnipresent. Whatever it is there. And we seek to be thankful to this God, to praise this God, to ask for guidance at times. Every one of us, no matter where we are born, recognize the difference between right and wrong. And we seek to do good to our fellow man. Every one of us in our faith, no matter when born, centuries ago in different religions or even now, we believe that somehow we will be rewarded for our good deeds and perhaps punished for our bad. All religion believe that in our faith we see that there will be an afterlife, something to look forward to as we pass. And this is common amongst our faith. It's a part of all of our faith. What happens is that the answers that these questions inspire can be different. We are bound by the faith that unites us and in the questions that we ask and the needs that we have inside us. And the religions that we develop answer those questions. And the answers could be different. And what happens as our religions develop over centuries in different parts of the world, they become part of our culture, how we worship, our tradition, our holy and sacred places that we hold close to our hearts and our souls, that we revere, our celebration, and how we choose our festival when we come together to share. Indeed, how we celebrate our religion is embedded into our culture.